Episode protocol. Too much happens in this episode. Too much. Okay, where to begin? All right, 3:30. The previous episode, Lain is starting to realize and actually use her powers, and so at 3:30 she's looking down, she's looking in, she's like all confused and stuff, but she's wearing a bear suit. So this is really a realization of the fact that hey, I'm God, and she's wearing the bear suit as because it's basically her way of protecting herself. The symbolism of like a shield, I guess you could say. Okay, 427, the alien. This alien, man. And let me tell you, alright, just everything, the alien and just the whole bits and pieces about the scientists, I looked this stuff up, alright? Now, there is some basis, a couple things of what they say is true. But most of it is conspiracy theories. And, some of it's very believable, but towards the end, especially when he talks about, like one collective human consciousness, it's just, these are conspiracy theories you can find on the computer. And this whole bit was to show that, when humans don't have facts, like just down-to-earth facts, they'll make things up to replace these facts. So they'll make fiction reality, make fiction fact. So a lot of people accept, a lot of people believe that aliens crashed in Roswell, but because we don't have any other truth, they will accept that. And that's why at 2045, Lain mentions there can be only one God, or something along these lines. And Eri talks to her. And that's because Lain does not see anything else. So she's accepting this false fact as reality. The false fact being that Eri is the real God when he's not. And they mention Eri towards the end and the guy who commits suicide. He basically put his mind into the Wired. And through because of the kids project, which was mentioned previously, that was possible. And now that I think about it, those kids, their minds are probably still in the Wired somewhere. I mean, the girl who committed suicide in the very beginning of the show, her mind is in the Wired. So this guy just did what these people had already done, except that he kind of knowingly put himself there, and because he has so much more knowledge of it, he can manipulate things and hence become a false god or a real god, the real god as he's trying to do it. What else? At 11:10, when Lain's in the club, when she first shows up in the club and you see her, she just normal Lain. But 11:10, when she goes up to the kids and they like kind of, they look at her and then they kind of freak out. That's sassy Lain. She shows up, and blah 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 blah. And then at 15:10, when he's talking, when she brings the guy back to her place, and he shows up, or normal Lain shows up at the very end. And he's like shocked again, and that's when he says, "Oh, I can see why the Knights are really interested in you, because she's basically acting really bipolar." But I mean, for that whole bit, it was sassy Lain just taking charge, and then normal Lain just pops up. We got to backtrack a little bit just to make a point. At 13:05, they show her parents, and they're just kissing, and this goes into my belief that they played the role of Mary and Joseph. All right. Now, the mother doesn't play exactly the best Mary, but the father definitely plays a good Joseph because he pretty much guided her through it. And this goes into what I said in previous videos about they actually did care for her. They were somehow related. They weren't just working. They were working. The father was at least working for Tachibana Corporation. But he had the role of like Joseph. He raised and took care of Lain. Okay, go fast forwarding a little bit. When Lain's talking to herself. Now, Lain probably put that chip into her computer and downloaded it just to see what it is, even though there was an obvious risk. And when she did, Sassy Lain was able to talk to Normal Lain. Sassy Lain's the one sitting down on the computer. Normal Lain is the one that goes up the door. Now you can kind of tell because the one that was standing looks confused, like normal Lane always looks, and they show it and then they show them talking, and then they like show that one Lane is talking to herself, kind of like they show that the door was closed and they'll never open. It just goes to show you that it's all in her head. Like the three lanes are in her. Now with the when normal Lane is like that, you could say the roles reverse because Sassy Lane can go into the Wired, but normal Lane can never can. But this is the first time that normal Lane actually does show up in the Wired. Like she's in it. She sees her normal Lane. When before she goes and talks to Sassy Lane, she sees the three. Her relatives, her family. This bit, I want to say, well, what I believe is that they were already in the Wired, somehow. Her father and mother obviously were in the Wired. They knew what it was, so they could be in the Wired, no problem. I mean, at this point, I guess because they work for Tachibana. I mean, the father definitely worked for Tachibana. They're able to like go into each zone, if you had to put it down. The sister though, she looks confused, like, oh, where am I? And this goes into the whole, well, where did Lane's sister like go? Like she didn't just die because her body's there. You could say that her soul was put into the Wire, and that's why she looks confused. Now, why she doesn't talk to Lain right then and there, who knows? She's probably so confused. She probably thinks everything's fake. So that's where she went pretty much. That was her, the sister in the Wired. This thing, the whole beep beep connecting, blah 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 blah. That's just I don't know, garbage basically. They took out her brain and put nothing in it. So obviously nothing's gonna function properly. I mean, honestly, the whole bit with the scientist is very confusing. I didn't see there's need to it, but basically it shows, hey, conspiracies can become fact when nothing else is presented to people. And the whole point of this episode is the fact that Lain falls for this gimmick and accepts fiction for a reality. So, episode 09 Protocol. I know I rushed through it, but I mean, hey, if you ever have any question, just post a comment and I'll gladly explain it to you guys. So, yeah, thanks for watching and stay